I think some of you might be wondering what's in this little cabinet here that I have in my meditation room / tea room. And right now I am going to show you. But before I get started, please subscribe and hit the bell for new notifications. Okay, so let's see here. What is in this cabinet is kind of interesting. It is a cabinet that I keep all my tea supplies in it. And I'm not going to go into what everything is in here because it would require a lot of work for me to pull everything out. But I can show you certain things. On the top shelf here, I have tea bowls, and these are made specifically for the tea ceremony. And I studied the tea ceremony in California when I lived in California for a year under a tea teacher. These are particular for the tea ceremony because you have to use a whisk to use these bowls to mix the tea in these bowls. I'm not going to get into the absolute design of these, but some of the things that makes these special is that they're wide enough to accommodate the whisk, and I'll probably pull out the whisk here in a minute, and they're also deep enough so that the tea isn't going to go all over the place. I have some other tea bowls that are really small, and they kind of are hard to make tea in. So let me see. So this is one, and this is, most of them are from Japan, but they're not all from Japan. And a lot of my tea bowls I have actually purchased on eBay. And so this is one, and this is another one. And this one is actually made by an American artist. Tea supplies and tea bowls can be quite a thing to collect if you're into the tea ceremony. So this is another bowl. And then this is actually one that I made. And I made this when I lived in New Jersey. And you can see the way that I did the glazing on the side. So, yep. And this is another one. This is not a tea bowl. Actually, this is a flower vase for the tea ceremony. Well, it doesn't have to be for the tea ceremony, but a lot of the stuff that I have is meant to go on what is called the tokonoma during the tea ceremony. This is a lovely vase here, and this one is made in a wood-fired kiln. You can tell by the way that the glaze is on it. It's actually a product of how the vase sits next to the fire in the kiln. This bowl is really cool because I think this bowl actually might be from somewhere, and I love the foot of the bowls, but this bowl I think is from Korea, but I'm not 100% sure on this. And this is the really tiny bowl that I have a hard time making the tea in. This is a container that my friend's mother made. Now, my friend was Japanese. Her name is Tomomi, and she passed away several years ago now. And this is a box that her mother made, and I put a natsume in it. And a natsume is a tea ceremony caddy. So this is a tea ceremony caddy that I have, and it is made with wood and it's lacquered, and these are, I think, cranes on top of the tea caddy. So I actually have tea in here. This is kind of bad that I was storing it in here. Well, that's what it is. It's to store tea, but I probably should move it out of here. And this is a true lacquered tea ceremony natsume. Some tea ceremony natsumes are not real. They are made with plastic, but this one is real. And I do have a plastic natsume, but this is not plastic. These are actually used during the tea ceremony, and these are chakins, and they are linen, like napkins kind of, and they're made to clean out the bowl, ceremonially clean out the bowl, not actually clean out the bowl, because your bowls are spotless, but it's to show the guest that you're cleaning the bowl out for them, so it's going to be perfect. It's just to show that you're doing it. This is actually a tea bowl that I got from Tivana, and I think it's pretty, I can't remember what it looks like actually. It's like a present. It's green. It's a pretty tea bowl. It's kind of plain inside, but it's, which isn't actually bad, because when you have tea and you froth the tea with a whisk, it looks like, kind of like, a lot like this color, and it would be pretty against the white in there. This is actually a red bean paste sweet, and I've heard from people that are super into the tea ceremony that's not really the correct thing to use per se for a tea ceremony, but I use it, and that is what my tea teacher used all the time, and it's pretty inexpensive, and it's like a sweetened red bean paste, and you actually put it on, in my other video that I haven't posted yet, but I will soon, on gardening, in the middle of that video, I'm showing a tea bowl, and also I'm showing a piece of this. And there's this little stick that you use to like kind of stab it and then put it in your mouth. But you can also cut it up into little pieces while it's on this little piece of paper that you use to eat it off of. This is just a little bamboo cup, but sometimes I've used it for some other things. It's not really, kind of like a futaoki, which is to hold the ladle, but it doesn't have to be used for that. You can, other things. Anyway, this is, I can't remember what this is. Oh, it's not in here. This is my Fukusa box, and a Fukusa is what is used to, and the Fukusa is actually in here. The Fukusa is what is actually used during the tea ceremony by the person making the tea. And this is a Fukusa. And it is a piece of silk fabric, and it's made square, and it's used for the tea ceremony to fold a certain way. And that is basically used for ceremonial cleaning as a courtesy to the guest. So basically, it's kind of like this. And you would use it to clean the edge of the natsume, which is the tea caddy. This is a little pouch that is used for people, and this was given to me by my tea teacher from her tea teacher, and who was like, couldn't speak any English. She was really Japanese. And it's just to hold okashi paper and other tea utensils for the person that is going to a chakai. It's called a chakai, a tea ceremony. I use this spoon for sifting tea. I can't remember what this is. Okay, this is a tea bowl that I got when I was in Japan, and I believe I got this around Kyoto. Now, this tea bowl is made in a wood-fired kiln as well, and you can definitely see that by the way that the glaze is on the outside. And like I said, this is a product of how the wood fire, the actual fire in the kiln, was in relation to the bowl, and you can see it was probably, this is probably the side that was facing the wood fire, and then this was like the back side of the bowl. Oh, this is actually not a tea ceremony item. This is actually a bento box, and I use this for every year I go on this Japanese picnic type of thing, and I use this for that picnic. These are just some little bags This is a really big tea bowl, and it is meant for, I mean, more for like a man. I mean, I guess you can give it to anybody, but I really liked it, and it is by this guy named like Jay, and I love it because it is just so really very interesting, and I love the glazes on it. I think it's beautiful, and it's made by an American potter. But I think it's really interesting. I feel like I've always liked really organic pottery because I felt like it was like they grew it, like they planted a seed and they grew this pot out of the ground. And I really like that kind of earthy type of tea bowl. And a lot of people have tea bowls that aren't earthy at all, that are more like porcelain type of pottery that have like little kitties on them and stuff, and I don't really like that kind of tea bowl. I really am into the earthy kind of wabi-sabi type of tea bowls. And this is his mark right here. This little bag that I pulled out just a minute ago has some things in it that I use for the tea ceremony, and it's kind of like my bag that I go to for if I'm going to have tea or make tea, kind of just about any time. These are little sticks. They're literally like made like out of like little sticks, wood, and they're just these things that use, I don't know if you can see this. So what it's used for is that bean paste that I was saying, and when you have it out of this, you kind of squeeze it out the end, and you put it on this little okashi paper, and then you cut it, and then you stab it, and then you eat it like that. That's how you do it. So these are called okashi sticks, actually. And then I have okashi paper, which is used for the bean paste. And so this is okashi paper. And I have several bunches of it in here. It's like, I guess that's one of the things, is you always want to make sure when you're going for tea that you have plenty of okashi paper, because it needs to look full and bountiful. I don't know why that is, but you want to make it look like you have a lot and not like you have like a piece of okashi paper. And these are used, I can't remember what these are called, but these are used under a tea bowl, and I actually made these myself. But when you're presenting a tea bowl to somebody and it's a special tea bowl, you use it as a presentation cloth, and you put the tea bowl on the cloth when you're giving it to them. You keep the cloth, but you give them, like, basically you're handing them this, and they are taking the tea bowl, and it's basically just to signify that this tea bowl is special. I have a lot of these little cloths, actually. And they're pretty. There's like silk. Some are cotton. This is actually like a cotton, or maybe something else. It's like a little bamboo pattern. And in this box I have this is an okashi stick, but this is a very fancy okashi stick, and it is like a crane, and it is very pretty, and it's used instead of a little simple wooden one. And this is a fan, and when you're a guest in doing the tea ceremony, you use this fan. You don't open it, but I'm opening it right now. These are actually tea masters, and this fan is all the different tea masters. But this is closed, and you use this in the tea ceremony when you're a guest to signify that this is your place, and it's like a placeholder sort of thing. And the tea ceremony is so long and so involved. It's 150 moves, and this is just another little part of the ceremony. And the guest is also doing things that are required of them for the tea ceremony. And this fan is used in that way. And I have another fan here. And this one is got like a little like bridge on it. So it's very pretty. But they're not really opened up. They're just used to designate where your place is. This is a tea scoop and is made out of bamboo, and it is used to scoop the tea out of the natsume, the tea caddy, into the tea bowl. And I have another one here that is from Takayama, from an artist in the mountains of Takayama. A little, this one's lighter, you can see it. It's carved from a single piece of wood. A lot of these tea utensils have names, and this one I believe is like snow viewing, like tea scoop kind of thing. I have some tea, and these are some of the teas that I have. This is matcha, so this is that powdered tea. Oh, this is in like a bag. Usually I have it in a mylar bag, but that's what you saw on the natsume. This is the waste bowl that you use in the tea ceremony, and it's used during the ceremony to pour the dirty water in, but it's not really dirty. It's basically like water that was used to rinse out the tea bowl after someone drank tea. So it's kind of not really that dirty. But really you don't see this. This is kind of next to your knee and it's hidden away from view. This is my whisk. This is one of my whisks. I have another one downstairs. And after the whisks get kind of old, you have to throw them away. But this is my whisk, or one of them. Because they tend to break when they get older and become brittle. And when you're doing the tea ceremony, everything has to be perfect. This is a non-tea item, but this is cool. This is a sake container, and it is about 100 years old. Maybe older. And this is the sake cup, and there's, I think, 5 cups that go with it. And it is a very old, and it's a particular style. The glaze on it is a particular style. I can't remember the name of this. I think Shinoware. I think that's the name of this, Shinoware. Okay. Oh, this is some old sweets that I have, but my friend Tomomi that died gave this to me, so I can't throw it away. I've never even opened it, but I feel like maybe I'll open it now. Hey, why not? Right? Why not? You can see what's inside. Well, my friend Tomomi gave this to me years and years ago. And I think it is a tea ceremony sweet kind of thing. And I've just kind of always, I don't know why I haven't opened it, but might as well do it on camera. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at that. Oh, how pretty. Can you see that? It's like, let me see if I can. It's like a pink, the light, it's got like a pink type of coloring to it. You can see it when I turn it right. And oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I love Japanese packaging. It is the coolest thing. And if you ever go to Japan, oh, yes, these are correct. So, these are still good actually. During the tea ceremony, when you're serving thin tea, which is called usucha, you use these little candies, these little things. This is the correct thing to use. And they are used, each person would get one of these little things. And that kind of offsets the bitter flavor of the tea. I love this. I can't believe that I just opened it. But it's pretty special. Yeah, really cool. I don't know why I'm getting this glare. Well, that's a little better. So, oh, cool. I'm glad I decided to open that finally. So strange. But I love the Japanese packaging, because you saw when I opened it, I had this really cool box and then this paper, and that is what you will get when you go to a store and you're buying something nice and fine. They always wrap it very, very nice, and take a lot of care in doing that. This is another Fukusa that I have, which is the silk cloth used for tea ceremony. And this one has like a little ginkgo on it. And the ginkgo is a symbol of the style of tea that I study, which is the Urasenki style. There are several styles in Japan, and that is the name of one of the styles. Omoto Senke is another name of another style of tea ceremony. This is a tea bowl that it's the only one that I have a box for. Now, boxes for tea bowls are important because basically it says that this is a special tea bowl, and this is the only tea bowl that I have that is rakuware. I've always wanted a rakuware tea bowl, and this is a rakuware tea bowl. They are special because there's air in the clay, and the air keeps the tea warm, like it insulates it. So I'm going to open this for you so you can see this tea bowl. This is the way that they do the ties on these tea boxes, or the tea bowl tea boxes, or any kind of tea things. They basically have the ties done a certain way. And so I'm going to show you this because it's not like your regular way of tying. There's like a bow here and then a bow here, and it's wrapped around. See, now I can't even get it back again. And it's wrapped around and then there. It's really interesting. It's not like it's not the way we do it, let's just say. Okay, and then this comes out from here, and this one comes out from under here. It's quite complicated. And then this piece is over the edge. And so this is rakuware. The reason why these tend to be more expensive bowls is because they are very delicate in they seem thick and tough, but they're not really. The way that they make them is like not just firing, but they fire and then they take it out early and they throw it into another container, and it's harsh. A lot of the bowls don't make it. This brown right here is tea stain from being used for years and years and years. I haven't had this bowl very long, so this is not done by me. This is done by somebody else, probably somebody in Japan. I think this tea bowl belonged to somebody in Japan. This is also not a tea item. This is meant for, it's a little piece of pottery that you can put like flowers in or water, and you have this little ladle rest so you can put water in it. I've put moss in there, which looks pretty cool. This is a ladle for the tea ceremony, and it is used particular ways. And you use it to put water from the tea, the hot water receptacle, into the tea bowl. And I have other tea utensils like that, but they're in the other cabinet, and I'm not going to get to it today. And they're a lot to pull out too. Maybe I'll show a picture of them. And in here I have some futaokis. This is one that I actually made, and this holds the tea ladle during the tea ceremony. And down on the bottom I have the thing that holds the hot water, and I will just show you a little glimpse of it, but I'm not going to open it because it is kind of difficult to get in and out of there. It's made out of iron, and it's heavy, and it's you're not even really supposed to touch it because I guess the oils could hurt it or ruin it. And back in here I have charcoal that's used during the tea ceremony. Also ash that's used in the furrow, which holds the hot water container. So that's it. I hope you like the tour of my cabinet with my tea utensils. Please give me a like and subscribe and comment. And also maybe you have some questions about the tea ceremony. Thank you for watching.